Have you ever had difficulty making choices or decisions in your life? Well, who hasn't? Of course you have. Now, today we're going to talk about how you can make better and better decisions and choices to increase the happiness quotient and the success rate in your life today. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Men on Fire. My name is Micah Wren, a former mechanic and engineer turned transformational teacher. And each week, I'll deliver an inspiring message to help you excavate those repressed inner negative feelings and install new thoughts that will finally allow you to truly become the person you were born to be. Welcome, and welcome to another episode of Men on Fire here on Soul Mechanic TV and Soul Mechanic Radio. Today, we're going to talk about how to make better decisions and better choices in your life. Now, I know almost everybody has heard this saying, what you sow is what you reap. And that is so true. But sometimes because of the language used, you say, what does this actually mean? But if you want to create happiness, you must learn to sow the seeds of happiness. So what this means is to take action. So the action you take brings you the results, right? So conscious choice making, when we choose actions that bring us happiness and success to others, the fruit of those actions will be happiness and success for us. Again, we discussed that last time around. What we can bring to others, what we can give, we will get back. So giving starts the receiving process. It's not the other way around, where you want to get first and then maybe you'll give a little. Doesn't work. Give first, then you'll get. So, choices. It's really what life is all about, isn't it? It's so much importance in our life. The choices we make, the actions we take, they will give us the results we get in our life. And it all starts with our thoughts, right? The way you think is the way you feel. The way you feel is the way you act. And the way you act gives you the results you get in your life. Now, some choices are made consciously and others aren't. They're made unconsciously, either due to conditioning or of our environment or exposure to peers and parents and teachers and all those things over the years that help us form beliefs and habits. And then we make those same choices over and over and over again without even thinking about it. We just make that choice because we've adopted a certain belief that I don't like red cars. So every time I see a red car go by, I go, I don't like that car. It doesn't matter what that is. It could be the best car in the world or the worst. You just don't like red cars and you've decided that. But we need to have a look at some of those choices, right? So as I said, most of them are unconscious choices, meaning we don't even think about it before we do it or we make that choice. So many choices are a result of us, as I said, of our conditioning, and our choices are often triggered by other people and circumstances, which lead to predictable outcomes, right? Because every choice is the same every time. So it's a predictable outcome. Someone says that certain word to me and I lose it. Right? I fly off the handle. I'm getting down and dirty and I'm ready to fight. Why? I don't know. That all happens through the conditioning and what we've been exposed to in our lives. But we need to analyze that a little bit and see how we can change those things. So, for example, if I just insulted you, you would probably choose to be offended. Right? Makes sense. And if I flattered you or I complimented you, you would probably feel flattered. So think about it. It doesn't matter if you're complimented or flattered. You could also choose not to be offended or flattered as well. The choice is up to you. So how do you make then these spontaneous right choices? Well, we do that by paying attention to sensations in our body, not necessarily our mind, because the mind, as we'll see, is not powerful enough to do that actually. So at the moment you make a choice, ask yourself this: what are the consequences of this choice? If you feel comfort, then you are making the right choice. If you feel uneasy, then you're probably making the wrong choice. And some people will feel it in their solar plexus area, kind of the center of their chest, but most people will feel it in their hearts. They'll feel that in your heart. And why do we feel it in the heart? Because the electromagnetic energy given off by the heart is 5,000 times greater than what's given off by the brain. That's right, I said 5,000 times greater than what's given off with the brain. Scientists have discovered that the electromagnetism in our heart can be felt for about 2 meters from our bodies when picked up by sensitive detectors, but not so with the brain, right? You've got to have little sensors put on your skull to detect those small electrical currents. So the heart is so much more powerful than the brain, and they need to work together, which we'll discuss in another episode later. But the brain is there to analyze and execute. That's what it does. Analyzes everything, and then it says, yep, do that. But we need to include our feelings in this, right? I mentioned the way you think is the way you feel. And the way you feel is the way you act. The way you act is to get the results you get with your life. And so the feeling part is super important, but we forget that. We just think, okay, I'll think and then I'll do. No, think, feel, act, results, right? So the brain can't tell you what's right or wrong. That's not its job. It just analyzes and then makes a decision. I'll do that. But if you take a second and include your heart and your feelings in this, it will always tell you what's right or wrong. And for that, you have to listen to your heart. Now, the feeling may be a little bit smaller, faint at first, but as you practice this, it will get stronger and stronger, and you'll be able to recognize it. And this feeling will never let you down. It's that feeling from inside. Some, call it a message from the soul, or a soul feeling, or your heart feeling, whatever works for you, how you want to think about it. It's one and the same. And the heart is intuitive and it's holistic. It has a win-win orientation. The mind doesn't have a win-win orientation. The mind just wants to rule out because it is involved with our ego, which is our personality. And we just want to, many times, better other people or win in life's situations. But the heart wants a win-win, and your soul wants a win-win all the time, that it's good for you, it's good for everybody around you. And that's what we need to strive for. So the heart also taps into that field of potentiality that we talked about in previous episodes, right? In and out of the field of infinite potentiality many times. 8 times per second, I believe, was what I had mentioned to you, and that's what it does, right? So as you become a conscious choice maker instead of unconscious, the actions you take will become evolutionary in your life, for both you and for those around you. This is the ultimate cause and effect, which we talked about at the beginning. So the takeaway from all this then is, whenever you make a choice, ask yourself these 2 questions. What are the consequences of this choice? And Will this choice bring happiness to me and to those who are affected by this choice? Ask yourself those two questions. And ask your heart for guidance and be guided by its message of comfort or discomfort. If you feel comfortable when you ask yourself that, put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, feel it, ask those questions. What are the consequences of this choice? Will this choice bring happiness to me and to those who are affected by this choice? And if you feel comfortable, then go ahead and make that choice. If you feel uncomfortable, on the other hand, perhaps you need to look at it further. I would say probably don't make that choice, but that's up to you. Maybe you just need to analyze it a bit more. Maybe put a sheet with pros and cons on it and think about it with your mind again, and then ask those questions again and follow your heart, because it won't steer you wrong. Your heart, your soul will never do what is not good for you, right? It has a win-win orientation for you and all those around you. So give this a try for a week, and I bet you'll be making a lot better choices, leading to a big increase in both happiness and success in your life. Thanks for tuning into today's episode, and remember, you're the one. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As always, keep what feels good and dump what doesn't. And remember, live without judgment, give without expectation, and love for no reason. Follow those 3 simple expressions, and you'll be well on your way to an inspirational, intentional, and successful life. Until next time, you're the one.